Today I'm going to be sharing about how when we're healing from an authoritative mother, we need an individualized approach to self. And so according to you, what I do to self-soothe is a problem. This is like in terms of being in an inner conversation with the mother, not the mother actually being in the room and you're having the conversation, but an inner conversation. You take a small piece and make it all bad, but I know the whole picture. Or I don't fit into your box, but I'm more independent, moved into my own place. I have a common sense for what works for me, and it's between me and God. I felt psychologically isolated because of you. I needed special accommodations, to be religious, but you didn't understand. Yet it's amazing I'm like religious now. I'm using the word religious because like what religious people say, but I like the word observant. It's not healthy to hide and repress my bother. It wastes a lot of energy. It's important to notice a tendency towards seeing lack and not relating through it as the only place to get it. And it's withholding. And it is like if I see lack and then I relate through the lack and think that's the only place I could get it, wherever, and then that's withholding it from me, versus kind of a humbleness, in being obedient, because the light that can come in if I'm not obstinate when it's a time that I'm around very advanced, bright, guiding, creative, sovereign beings. And then there's not a lack because I'm in a field where there's a lot of it. Also, another message is to introduce intentions as a great practice, and recognizing also that we project values when we're not open. We have what's in us, we can't take in, we're projecting out. Religious is not observant, like I said before, just saying. It's healthy to share tools for self-care, but not because of like deciding that the other one is despairing. Taking breaks, not giving up. I once heard someone say, adults take breaks, they don't quit. Removing stigma from mental illness relapse or recurrence and deserving to rest. Same with removing stigma from being unemployed. People are always very busy and accomplishing more, achieving. It's admirable, and these are feats. And if we let go of this idea that you always have to be busy, employed, accomplishing more, achieving more, having admirable feats and these labels that you can get to, titles, rather than respecting the need, like for off days, for just flowing, being in life without boxing it up and qualifying it, not getting shamed for toxic thoughts, like I consumed discomfort directly on purpose, did it to myself, or not wanting to debase my time and energy, like not wanting to waste it. Okay. Next topic, 3 things that I recently accomplished was a prompt. So sometimes when we're thinking, it's not the next topic. I mean, I'm veering off a little. I'm going to continue because I mentioned sometimes we don't feel like we're accomplishing. So when we're connecting with our real self versus this authoritative mother, we want to know what really made me feel accomplished. So I journaled, and one was cooking with whatever I have at home and getting past the sense of not enough substances or provisions, with a lot of time and energy into cooking for myself as a process of abundance. Like a nice home-cooked meal with a big portion, yummy, nutritious, healthy, fresh, hot, or cold if it's a salad or whatever. Detaching from negative patterns of relating, cushioning the blow of truth at my own unnecessary expense. This includes also not just that, but denial, validating someone else's false self or image, excusing my favorites from living up to the standards and values that matter to me and I hold others accountable for, being dependent on someone outside of myself for the relief and connection that's rooted in, I say it as finally being on the same side as God, but we could call it granting innocence. And I don't know, I think it's related to unconditional, not just love, but acceptance. unconditional love and acceptance. Okay, learning to, and number 3, I want to also just say, I wrote this a couple years ago. Learning to use schedule as action plan for potential, where new responsibilities and accomplishments are also taken into account. So it's like an action plan, but it's not necessarily set in stone. And learning how to adapt new things, old things. I'm a little tired, but it's interesting. I want to share a little bit about sleep from Alex Howard. He interviewed many experts, and he had a sleep summit I attended. He says you could control your mitochondria. They're related to bacteria, but they're not bacteria, but they're like bacteria that got anciently enveloped into our cells. We have a trace of the matrilinearity. Linearity. It's like the lineage through the mother. They respond to light, food, and rest or stress. Light, they respond to the angle, the temperature, the color. And they respond to food, availability, quality, the nutrients in the food. They respond to whether we're resting or stressed, related to our pace, our movement, and our reaction rates. The brain, excuse me, I'm tired. The brain gets washed during sleep of wisdom of the snake. And I guess what I meant by that is, like, we call it like the Satan in Hebrew. Tamar Taback, a Rebbitzin, a feminine rabbi is a Rebbitzin. I never really understood why the women that want to be rabbis don't just call themselves Rebbitzins. Whatever. I think they're not Orthodox. And when you start making other groups less religious, more religious, it kind of gets off the mark. It doesn't hit it on the head anymore. Whatever. It's like feminism when people are trying to be Mr., but you know that you could be Mrs. Like, to be the next level from Miss, you would be Mrs. Wouldn't be like Mr. doesn't even jump, just Mr., right? So I feel like there's enough room for women with our labels. We could have our own, like, actress versus actor. Now they all want to be actor. No, take actress. If only there was a female doctor word, doctress, but then they think it should be nurse. I don't know. There's plenty of male nurses, but I want to say she said, she said that Satan got in the world by the samach. And when we think of the kav, the umbilicus, the line, to like laser, like it penetrates. When we have the womb, it's like sucking into the empty void, and it gave that line, and God contracted itself into a symptom, the restriction. And when we think of nature, we think of like all we see around us, we're like enveloped in it. It's related to the Hebrew word teva, is nature, is related to tabat, which is the ring, the circle. And actually the letter samach is the first letter of the word Satan. It appeared on the 6th day with the creation of woman, Chava. And like we say in Hebrew, sagar habasar hachatana. And he closed the flesh beneath her. Hatachana or something? Yeah. And this idea that we're inside of a circle, a ring, we have this inner periphery of all we see around, like the envelope. So it came through the woman, and so like we wake up, we're like, so this, I don't think Alex Howard said this thing about the wisdom of the snake. I think I'm just connecting it with Tamar Taback. But, and one other thing, they say you need, in Judaism, we have the Rambam who says you need at least 6 hours sleep, but 6 to 8 is healthy. Alex Howard says you need 6.5 hours of healthy sleep for the metabolism to be healthy. And so anyway, regarding this, like, I'm stopping here, but regarding this idea that the snake got into the world. In Hebrew, we would say Satan is the evil inclination, is the snake, and it has its own wisdom. So it's like this idea that, the mitochondria coming through, it gives energy. In the time of redemption, we can use that energy that used to trip us up, put us in that circle, envelop us, we get stuck. We can use it like that edge. We can absorb that energy and grow bigger and bigger, but in an expansive way where there's no separation, but in a way that doesn't just like leak out. Like that friction actually keeps us contained into some extent, our existence. So there's edges, gives us edges. I wish you a good night and a great day tomorrow. And may we all, today was a special day. It was the birthday of the Lubavitcher Rebbe's wife, who's not physically around now. She might be spiritually around, depending on your beliefs, but she is buried in the cemetery called Montefiore Cemetery in Queens, along with the Rebbe, the seventh Rebbetzin. Her name was Rebbetzin Chaim Mishka. Today was her birthday. And there's 2 Adars this year because it's a leap year. So she has one birthday now, like I had one birthday in Adar, and she and I are both going to have another birthday in the second Adar. There are 3rd, 8th, 11th, 14th. I think there's like about 5. Yeah, there's like supposedly, I think 5 leap years every 19 years in the Jewish calendar. We may not have any more leap years in the future when the High Court of 70 in Jerusalem is established again. Because they may be able to know exactly which month, exactly what day. Because we don't have the court set up, we need to just be sure of certain things. They say we may not have the leap year to account for the days. So it was also the founder of Hasidism, the Baal Shem Tov. His brother-in-law died, which is the anniversary of his death, and may his soul have a elevation. May both of their souls have an elevation. And may all of us experience more forgiveness of ourselves, of historical occurrences, of others, for others, from others, for our Creator, from our Creator. And gratitude. Gratitude is a blessing. To be grateful is to be blessed. Good night.